Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are reacting to the Eagles' win. I had finally said it again over the New York Giants yesterday. The Eagles, it was not a great win at all. It came down to a 6-point game, and the Giants even had a chance to win that game. Thank God the Eagles were able to recover that onside kick. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about my frustrations. But before we talk about my frustrations, guys, make sure you subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my Brotherly and the Great blogs. Make sure you go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. And thank you all for 200 subscribers, baby. This is surreal. The 200 subscriber special. I still have some ideas in check, but that will be coming out soon. We were stuck at 194, and then we worked our way up, and we are now at 202. The road to 250 is coming. So if you guys want to be an OG today and help me get to 250, make sure you subscribe. But let's get right into the video. So, as we always start off with the Eagles, and as I just said a minute ago, I was not happy with this win at all. The Eagles couldn't do anything in the red zone, and putting up 22 points against the Giants' second and third team is not going to get it done against teams like the 49ers in the playoffs. Now we talk about Jalen Hurts, who, thank God, is back, but this wasn't his best game, only completing 57% of his passes. He did have rust, you could tell. I'm not mad about that, but there were throws that he normally makes that he overthrew in the red zone. It really wasn't his fault that much. The receivers weren't getting open, and I think he targeted A.J. Brown way too much when he wasn't open. Once again, just like Minshew last week, he threw the ball. I think there was one pass where he threw the ball on Brown in the slant. Brown didn't really give up, but the guy had inside leverage, and he almost threw a pick. Well, Hurts did throw a pick, but, I mean, I don't know where he was throwing it when he threw that pick, but whatever, it's fine. I think he'll be okay if he rests up. I definitely do think he got orders from Laurie to not run the ball at all. Even though he did have 9 carries, he looked very reluctant to take a hit and run, which I don't blame him. Moving on to Miles Sanders. I don't know what the hell happened. I couldn't even tell you. 3 yards a carry. The play calling, it looked fine. What I said before the game, run the ball around Dickerson and have Stoll and Driscoll run around end and have them block on the second level. It looked fine. I don't think Sanders just couldn't figure it out. I don't know. I really couldn't tell you what went wrong. I just can't crack it. But Boston Scott, he still owns the Giants. Averaged 6 yards a carry. That man, really, the only time I like to see him on the field is against the Giants, man. Holy hell. Next, we move on to our receivers, starting with A.J. Brown. He was, as I said earlier, he was targeted way too much. Only 40% of his targets were completed. He had a decent game if you take away the targets. 4 catches for 95 yards. He ran his routes right. It's just that the Giants did play zone coverage to cover slant routes. One-on-one, he was unstoppable. There were a few times that he was one-on-one, but they played good zone defense, and there were a few bad passes by Hurts, so it's all right. Devontae Smith, good game from him. In the first half, he did absolutely positively nothing. In the second half, it was mostly screen passes, but once again, I'm bringing up the problem that I brought up in the beginning of the year. Not getting yards after catch. He only averaged 9.6 yards per catch. We need to get that up, and we need to figure that out quickly. Quez Watkins, he looked promising after the first drive. I thought he was going to have a half-decent game, but then the Eagles did nothing with him after that. I'm not really going to blame him once again this week. I do think that was the Eagles' fault. It is what it is. Goddard had a better game, a lot better of a game last week. This week he doubled his catches with 6 for 46 yards. They actually let him run curl and corner routes, which is what he is best at. So I'm very glad that they did that. And they got to start using him, man. He's a top 5 tight end in the NFL right now. Like, come on, birds. The offensive line was solid in the run game. Just a little bit. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was all right. They had some up and down moments, but like I said, swinging around Driscoll and Stoll on the second level on Dickerson's side. We got solid gains doing that. We played a lot in the pistol. We looked very predictable running the ball in the pistol, and especially with the way San Francisco plays the run. I don't know if just going in the pistol every time, and then that's how we run the ball is going to work, but it is what it is. At this point, I can be the offensive coordinator because I know better than Steichen, but it is what it is. Next, we move on to the defense. I mean, I got a lot to say about, well, I don't have, not a lot to say this week, but I wish I had more. We let a third-string running back average 5.5 yards per carry. Are you absolutely mad? Come on! We brought in Sue and Joseph to stop the run. I won't say it's really their fault because on the outside they were unstoppable. TJ Edwards, because you're white, man. You guys want contracts or what? I mean, what the hell are we doing here? I mean, I don't really give much credit to Gannon because there was no adjustments made. But I'll give them credit that they stopped it through the middle. They did a good job in that, but going around, and it was terrible. The pass rush was terrible. The one time we need Hassan Reddick to actually get a sack, to get the sack title, or the sack, whatever it is, he doesn't do it. The ends, they did have some good pressure. BG, Reddick, and Quinn, they showed pressure but never got a sack. I mean, Quinn, he showed me a reason to actually keep him on the field, so unless we can get Josh Sweat back, I mean, I'm all right with keeping him out there. The interior defensive line, Cox and Hargrave, I mean, if they just stood in place, I really wouldn't have noticed a difference. They did absolutely nothing rushing the passer. And the only sacks we had was on a tight end and the punter off of that fake kick. It's just bad. White and Edwards had a decent first half. They did make some tackles on the Giants running backs when they were running through the middle. On the outside they were absolutely terrible. But in the second half they fell asleep. They didn't make good plays. They almost had no tackles. I think even Edwards missed a tackle, which is very, very, very not like TJ Edwards. Once again, same with the secondary. In the first half, they deflected passes, and Epps almost had a pick, but he dropped it. I mean, holy hell, this is why he shouldn't be playing. But in the second half, they fell asleep. They were lazy in coverage, and they didn't look like they just cared. I mean, but I'm glad for Gardner-Johnson back. He made some plays in the backfield and had some good coverage for pretty much the whole game. He was really one of the few bright spots. Slay, he had a bad fourth quarter. He had a good three first quarters and then a bad fourth quarter. He is the opposite of Tim Tebow. Well, not the opposite. He's not actually Slay is. I mean, Tim Tebow, man. We're not going to talk about Tebow today. That's old news. The bottom line, I mean, yeah, they locked at the number one seed, but only scoring 22 points and giving up 16 to the Giants' second and third team is not really a good look. If we play like this against the 49ers, they're going to get absolutely torched. So it is what it is. Giants, I'm not going to say anything because they didn't play their starters, and there's really not much to say because these guys are not really going to be playing in the playoffs, but I'll give them the bottom line. Everyone is healthy, but for them, this is a moral win, and I think this gives them momentum going into the playoffs. I was pretty surprised to hear today that I heard that Brian Dable is, he's saying something about experience, like it doesn't matter. Also, before we end this video, guys, I want to give a huge shout-out to Damar Hamlin. He has been officially released from the Cincinnati hospital and is going back to Buffalo. Prayer is real. The power of prayer is real. I appreciate all the love I've seen in my community about Damar Hamlin, and I expect that to continue. Right now, I hope nobody expects if they hear this news for Damar to get back on the field. Let's just have him get healthy first, and then we take it from there. The power of prayer is real. Thank God for this. We truly thank God, and we'll end it on a positive note, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a little bit of a shorter one today. I mean, there really wasn't much because it was the last game of the season. But make sure you subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my Brother Landon Great vlogs. Make sure you go subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cod Great. Make sure you follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And as always, streams. Streaming tonight, Georgia, TCU, and I'll deliver the playoff schedule when I can. All right, Ryan the Great out. Peace.